Sweetgreen didn't finish the job. They went to all this trouble to become the first widespread national chain that actually serves legitimately healthy food, but then they didn't integrate organic into the concept. And I don't know why or how they wouldn't, given that this is their entire brand and messaging is that we are so healthy. I'm on the homepage right now, and we can see a cover image with two appealing entrees on it. Of course, we have bowls underneath. Some of them look appetizing. We have the Sweetgreen pass. We have something about catering, some media coverage, and more types, different types of content. But what we don't see is the word organic. And what we don't see is where Sweetgreen gets into the quality of the food that they are sourcing and where it's derived from. We don't see a lot of talk about that. And that to me is concerning, given that this is really the messaging that they are trying to portray. They want to be known as the healthy brand, but they're not completing that by talking about the quality of the ingredients, not the nutritional value of the ingredient, but the actual quality of those ingredients. So, looking at the menu here, so if we were to go to order, one notable is that when we're ordering from different locations, they're going to be sourcing food from different farms because of they want farms that are nearby. Obviously, this leads to fresher ingredients, etc. So it's not that they don't have necessarily uniform menus. Although the menus, of course, are going to be closely aligned, there may be some variance between menus because they're attempting to source from nearby farms, which I think is great. But what we don't see this carried forward on the menu. We see the menu staying the same, so we don't see anything about organic ingredients when we're ordering either. But what I have pulled up is the nutritional guide, which is completely up to date. It's January 2025 is the last update. Well, it's January 14th, 2025. So this is going to be very accurate. But if we search for organic in the menu, we do see organic come up. So here under beverages, we've got lemonade, we've got two different types of teas, and we can see there are 46 instances of the word organic. So let's look through here. We have the teas, and then we have ingredients in the HU. I don't know if it's pronounced who, the cashews and the chocolate bar. And then if we just keep scrolling down, we can see that there are some organic ingredients. We have organic ketchup blend in the honey barbecue sauce. And we could see that there are organic ingredients in the beverages. But of course, we know that these are the bottled beverages. So just continuing to scroll down, we can see that almost all of the uses of the word organic are for the beverages. But then we get to bread ingredients. So we see some of the bread ingredients are organic. We have organic wheat flour. We have organic whole wheat flour, and maybe something else. It sees or organic whole wheat flour and rye flour. But that's it. That's it. So again, the ingredients, there's no addressing of whether or not they're organic, but there is discussion around organic ingredients, and let's get to why. And we're going to tab to the 2022 impact report. And by the way, I couldn't find any of this discussion on the sweetgreen.com website. So when you look at the domain, you look at the pages, you don't see this discussion. But on their 2022, what was this again, impact report, we see a note from the founders. And here is a relevant paragraph. We believe that real food that makes you feel good should be convenient and accessible to everyone. Every day, our team members create delicious, seasonal, and earth friendly meals from fresh ingredients and produce that prioritizes organic, regenerative, and local sourcing. Okay, so there we see organic is used, but in a way in which we can't know exactly how. So let's actually scroll down a little bit further because organic comes up again. And I'm actually going to have to search for this because I don't remember where was it that was organic came up again. So it says 65% of our produce suppliers use pest management, uh, organic integrated pest management or transitional growing practices. All right, that doesn't substantively, that doesn't mean anything though. 65%, what about the other 35%? It's just we can't be specific. We can't know exactly is this if we choose this ingredient from the menu, is it organic or is it not? And so we see, so we have Timeless Natural Food in Montana was founded by four organic farmers. Okay, so they're organic farmers. They have remained committed to using natural fertilizer, crop rotation, and supporting local farming communities for 3 decades. Timeless success has helped grow Montana's organic farming movement and transition farmers from monocropping. Okay, so I'm just right now I'm just looking for the word organic used in this report, and we can see that we have some suppliers that are spotlighted. And so another one is Seeds Farm, and Seeds Farm provides certified organic vegetables for our Chicago market. But that right there tells you that this is very much like spotty at best. And so the point with me going through this, and by the way, again, this is from 2022, is that we can't be certain of of anything that is organic on Sweetgreen's menu. All we can be certain of is that in the past they've used organic and what's on their nutritional guide, but we don't know. And that's problematic because we can't be sure if we're ordering something whether or not it's organic. As it stands now, it looks like you're the best outlook is to assume nothing is organic and then hope something is. So I'm going to continue with the control F, and I want to see if there are any more uses of the word organic beyond the spotlight. Uh, there was something about Rubicon and organics. No, so yeah, so we are a national restaurant company serving hearty, nutritious meals with local, organic, and sustainable ingredients from farmers we know and trust. But uh, we don't know what's organic and what's not. 47% of our current suppliers have been our partners for years. Again, the 65% stat. And I'm looking for the last Rubicon thing that I came across. Let's see. Okay, so here it is on page 22 of this report. Waste, uh, Rubicon manager. Okay, so that doesn't. Rubicon manages our waste recycling, composting, and organics programs, connecting with local companies to convert food waste. Okay, so that doesn't really mean anything towards organic. So we can't be certain of anything organic, and this is like organic would be right, totally aligned with the Sweetgreen brand, but we don't see any specificity. Now, I remember I was in one of the locations in Dallas, and there was actually a dry erase board that named specifically what farms the food was coming from, and an exhaustive list. Maybe not exhaustive, but it was a long list of seemingly most, if not all, of the ingredients that were at that location, and you could see exactly which ones were organic, and we don't see that happening with the website. So it really is something where they've this has taken what they've done, what they've accomplished to bring healthy food to the mainstream is extremely difficult. And so they've done something incredible. But as someone who prioritizes the healthiest food, you would want to see this carried forward with organic. So you'd want to see that precisely, hey, what ingredients are and are not organic. And I completely understand that would be very difficult to make this entire operation organic. That's not what I expect. But what I expect is transparency, because what happens is if you can't know for certain that something is or is not of a certain quality, then you have to assume that it's not. And so that's where Sweetgreen has led us to, is you have to assume that nothing is organic unless they are saying specifically that it is. So unless we can go to their nutritional menu and we can see specifically this says organic, otherwise you have to assume that it's not. And I think that's disappointing. And I think it logistically it would be difficult for Sweetgreen to do. But that is what I would that's what I'm after. I'm after the difficult part. I'm after that you are pristine, that you are precise, and that you have all of this information gathered, and that you not only are making the efforts. What was the quote there? They had a quote when we started to read the impact report. Uh, we are no, I wanted to get it from the founders. A note from our founders, and I can't unhighlight this. I don't know why. It says a note from our founders. So every day, our team members create delicious, seasonal, and earth-friendly meals from fresh ingredients and produce that prioritizes organic. Okay. So when they say prioritizes organic, we don't know what that means. And we can only assume that nothing is organic unless they are saying it is. So prioritizes means nothing. That is corporate speak, that is marketing, that does not tell you with certainty of anything. I would love to know what the numbers say, what the statistics say about prioritizing organic. Because in the corporate world, obviously profit has to come first. Profits are business is predicated on profit, right? So unless the business is always going to look out for itself because it's its own separate entity. So they're always seeking to maximize profit. And so what the hope is that because this is Sweetgreen's brand, that it would be profitable for the brand to actually have organics in place. And this leads to a bigger question of mine, which I've wondered. I've actually made a video about this. Why don't more restaurants, whether they be fast casual or otherwise, why don't they use organic ingredients and just charge you more for them? People would pay for them. It's not like there aren't already um, marketplaces and grocery stores that have organics that see these organic foods and ingredients being purchased. So it stands to reason that if your restaurant offered organic food, people would be willing to pay for the alternatives, if nothing else, even if you kept the other food in place. But I don't see hardly any restaurants incorporating organic ingredients and organic food into their menu. And even if it's not, I don't even expect a wholesale incorporation, but just some options would be great. But when it comes to looking at menus and anything else, you can only hold the whoever wrote the menu or the company behind the menu, you can only hold them to exactly what they state and nothing more. If they do not state something, you can only assume that they are not doing it. And prioritizing is a vague and ambiguous and general word where we don't know what that means. And because we don't know what it means, we can only assume that it means nothing. It sounds nice that you prioritize organic, but that's the kind of thing you say when you don't have the numbers behind you and you don't have the stats and the data behind you. You need to be able to show what exactly you do. Say, I know that you're not going to have a statistical chart here in this nice write up, a note from our founders, but now that we have this entire report, which is, I don't even know how many pages, 46 pages, at some point you would expect a write-up detailing how do you prioritize organic, and you don't see that. You see the inclusion of the spotlight of those two farms, but again, that's not what we're looking for. We're not looking for, okay, in Chicago they're using organic on Tuesdays. No, we want to see consistency, and so even if it's not uniform, even if it's not standard, we'd like to see those the specific sourcing of the food ingredients, where they're coming from, whether or not it's organic, what are the farm's best practices, and we don't see that level of specificity, despite the fact that this would be on brand for Sweetgreen. So it's not. This is not this. I think this is something that Sweetgreen wants to do, would like to do. It's just I think this is very difficult. but I think this would be something that would take it to the next level for Sweetgreen. So um, I eat at Sweetgreen a lot, and there are definitely other things that I think about with Sweetgreen besides just the fact that it doesn't have organic. Um, One thing being that what are my alternatives if I don't want to prepare my own food, because I do not want to prepare my own food. So at that point, it becomes okay. Well, I can choose somewhere else, but where else am I going to go for a menu that is on the whole healthy, but at the same time has organic food? It's very difficult to find organic food anywhere. So this is something that I recently re-looked up organic in Sweetgreen because I had done so before, and it was something that I thought about again recently, and then now I looked into it further, and so we see organic. The word organic is within the realm of possibility, but the fact that it's not on the website, the fact that we don't see it being featured, that tells you, that speaks volumes, right? Because if organic and Sweetgreen were close together, then we would see organic come up more. They'd be addressing it, they'd be talking about it more, they'd be, they'd be making that push more. And we don't see that push being made. If you frequented Chipotle in the old earlier years, what was nice to see at the beginning was they made an emphasis on, I can't remember the exact wording they used. I don't think it was organic. I think it was something like raised ethically, sustainably, something along those lines. And then over time, we saw that commitment erode to the point where that section of the menu just dropped off altogether. So I think originally Chipotle had notions that they were going to be holding themselves to a higher threshold. And then over time, I don't know if it was they had always been a public company, but over time that eroded. We saw the ethically, sustainably angle just go away completely. And so now the focus is on the fact that they are quote unquote real food. Uh, so that's these are things that I'm looking at with any type of restaurants, any type of fast casual, any type of restaurant where the marketing, branding, and messaging seems to be health oriented or healthier oriented. I'm trying to see where I feel more comfortable going to over and over again. And so Sweetgreen has made they've made a lot of progress here, and they are the first real national chain. And when I say real, I mean like widespread, like actually not ubiquitous, but they're in a lot of cities, and in some cities they have several locations. They've made a lot of headway and a lot of progress, and they've proven to some degree that people really do want healthy food. But it's the organic part of this, I think, has been difficult for them, and but I'd like to see them push harder and make this a theme, make organic a theme with Sweetgreen ingredients and Sweetgreen food, so that they keep pushing and ultimately become a majority organic restaurant.